we're breaking into our regular schedule with an urgent update on what is now a monstrous storm in the Caribbean. We're talking about Hurricane Melissa, and we need to get right into the latest official information right now.
This is a DGHradio.com news and information network Hurricane Melissa 11 a.m. update based on the National Hurricane Center advisory.
Catastrophic, life-threatening, imminent. Look, those are not my words. Those are the words the National Hurricane Center is using in their latest advisory. There's just no way to sugarcoat this. The threat is incredibly severe, and the danger is very, very real. So let's get straight to the details.
Okay, first up, let's get a really clear picture of what this storm looks like right now. This isn't a forecast for tomorrow. This is the reality in the Caribbean at this very moment.
All right, let's just break down what we're seeing here. Melissa is a Category 5 hurricane. That is the absolute top of the scale. There is no Category 6. We're talking maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. And just look at that central pressure, 908 millibars. To put that into perspective for you, that is a lower pressure than Hurricane Gilbert had when it absolutely devastated Jamaica back in 1988. And with hurricanes, a lower number means a stronger storm. This thing has terrifying, immense power.
And you can literally see that power on the satellite loop. Forecasters are calling it a classic, strong hurricane appearance. That tiny 10-mile-wide eye is just perfectly symmetrical, perfectly clear, and it's surrounded by these incredibly powerful thunderstorms. It's a textbook sign of a mature and, frankly, ferocious storm.
So, the big question is, where is all this power headed? Well, the most immediate and severe threat is pointed directly at the island of Jamaica. The core of this catastrophic storm is expected to pass near or even directly over the island tonight and into early Tuesday.
This, right here, is the single most important message for anyone in the path. It's a direct quote from the National Hurricane Center. Do not venture out of your safe shelter. Seriously, this is not a storm to watch from the window. The time for getting ready is over. The only safe place is in a secure shelter, and you have to stay there. Let's be absolutely clear about what 165-mile-per-hour winds can do. This isn't just about shingles flying off a roof. The official advisory warns of the potential for total structural failure of buildings, especially in those higher elevations. This is a destructive, landscape-altering force we're talking about.
And on top of that brutal wind, you have the water. The storm is forecasted to drop up to 40 inches of rain in some spots. I mean, just let that sink in. 40 inches. That amount of rain is going to lead to catastrophic, life-threatening flash floods, and it will, without a doubt, trigger numerous landslides all across the island's mountains.
And the threat coming from the sea is just as bad. A storm surge of up to 13 feet is expected along the southern coast. Just try to picture that. A wall of water, higher than a one-story building, being shoved inland, carrying with it huge, destructive waves.
So when you put those three things together, the wind, the rain, and the surge, the consequences are just devastating. We're talking about widespread damage to infrastructure, power and communication systems being knocked out for a very long time, and entire communities being completely cut off, isolated for days, maybe even weeks.
Now, I know when you hear all of this, you might be wondering, how can forecasters be so sure about such a terrible outcome? And you know what? That's a really good question. So let's pull back the curtain a little bit and look at the science that goes into making these predictions.
So yeah, how do they do it? How do they get this level of confidence? Well, it really comes down to this incredible combination of amazing technology and some really brave, hands-on observation.
What's so fascinating is how they blend all these tools together. You've got the big picture from satellites, of course, but you also have direct measurements from the hurricane hunter crews who are literally flying planes into the storm. They release these little instruments called dropsondes that fall right through the eye wall, sending back live data. All of that info then gets plugged into a whole suite of advanced computer models, and that creates a consensus forecast that is remarkably accurate.
And that level of certainty is exactly why these alerts are so critical. A hurricane warning, which is what's in effect for Jamaica, it doesn't mean hurricane conditions might happen. It means they are expected. The window to get ready has slammed shut. At this point, it is purely about survival.
Now, while Jamaica is facing the most immediate threat, Melissa's journey is far from over. This storm is going to continue to be a major threat to other nations in the coming days.
So let's quickly walk through the timeline here. After Jamaica tonight, the storm is forecast to cross over eastern Cuba late Tuesday into Wednesday. From there, it moves near the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos on Wednesday. By Thursday, it's going to be approaching Bermuda, before finally and thankfully weakening over the cold waters of the North Atlantic by the end of the week. And you can see how the official alerts mirror that dangerous path. A full hurricane warning is also up for eastern Cuba. Haiti is under a tropical storm warning, and this is really important. A hurricane watch is now in effect for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. That means if you're in those areas, you need to be rushing your preparations to completion right now.
So, what is the number one thing to take away from all of this? While we can give you the big picture, the most important life-saving information for you and your family will always come from your local officials. Please, listen to your local news, tune into your National Weather Service, and heed every single official warning. Stay informed, and please stay safe.